All right, what's going on, you guys? Nick here with Nick Strength and Power, and in this video, I want to talk about something a little bit different. I want to talk about a lift that doesn't get as much love as the major lifts, like the bench press, the deadlift, and the squat. Now, we've been talking a lot about world records lately with Hafthor Bjornsson's 501 kg deadlift recently. Then you also had the recent raw bench press world record attempt by Julius Maddox of 800 pounds. But the lift that I want to talk about in this video is the heaviest curl of all time, and specifically the man that holds that record. Now, before we talk about that, we've got to talk about the sport itself of strict curl. So strict curling is a little bit of a more obscure lift, but it is something that occurs in competitions, in meets, and it is something that there are world records accounted for. Now, to be considered a strict curl, in most federations, your back has to be up against the wall, your shoulders and butt must be touching the wall, and you've got to curl the weight without, swinging your arms too much and without using any momentum and without taking your back and butt off the wall. So as the name would suggest, very strict form. Now, with that being said, a man that you guys might recognize that has popularized the strict curl is none other than C.T. Fletcher. C.T. Fletcher, obviously famous for his motivational videos on YouTube and, of course, the insane size of his arms. Well, he didn't get that insane arm size for no reason. C.T. Fletcher was once the strict curl world record holder, and he was the world record holder for a very long time. So back in CT's younger days, he did set the world record of a 225-pound strict curl, which at the time and right now still is an insane amount of weight to strict curl. I'm going to show you guys some current strict curl world records in CT Fletcher's own organization. So strict curl has kind of fallen by the wayside recently, and not a whole lot of federations still do it. But CT, he created his own federation, the International Strict Curl Association, and he holds a competition every year in Venice Beach. So I want to show you guys those records to give you guys some perspective. So in CT Fletcher's own organization, the current world records in strict curl, according to their own website, the highest ever done at one of these ISCA meets is 195 pounds, and that was in the 198 to 219 pound weight class. In addition to that, you can see some of these rough numbers. Several of them are in the 180s, several of them are in the 170s, but mostly it's 195 or below, or 190 or below. Typically, no one really curls more than 190 pounds. So that's generally where it stands. Now, there's one other organization that I know of that still does strict curl, and that is the Raw Powerlifting Federation. And they have their current highest that I could find recently was a 180-pound curl done in 2020, and that was the highest curl that I could find on their records, and that was done by John Cooper. And John Cooper is also listed on the world record page for the ISCA strict curl world records of 175, I think is what he did at the ISCA. You're watching a video of John Cooper right now, just to give you guys an idea. So 175, and that's the best lifter. This John Cooper guy is the best lifter in the 100% raw curl category. Now, the reason why I have an interest in strict curl is I used to compete in strict curl myself. Now, the federation that I competed in was called the Next Generation Powerlifting Federation. They were in maybe 5 or 6 different states. But particularly when I competed in Ohio, Kentucky, and Indiana. And I still hold 2 state records in Kentucky and 3 state records in Ohio. Now, what you're watching right here, I believe, was a nationals meet that I did back in 2015. This was maybe 5, maybe 6 years ago that I did this meet. This was one of my first meets that I did. And my best curl, just to give you guys some perspective, was a 165-pound strict curl at 165 pounds body weight. So a body weight curl. And not to toot my own horn, but that is a pretty... to give you guys some perspective, it's a pretty impressive number, 165 at 165 body weight. But that curl and that number is nothing in comparison to the man that holds the world record for the strict curl. So the man that holds the world record is a man named Denis Cyplenkov. And this man, Denis, is a monster. He's an absolute freak, and he's an arm wrestler. He's a professional arm wrestler, one of the best arm wrestlers ever to exist on this planet. And in addition to that, as you can see, his arms are crazy. His forearms, his biceps, they look ridiculous. And they look ridiculous partially because of how he trains, but mostly I think it's genetics. But his heaviest strict curl ever, done in competition, strict, verified, legitimate world record, 249 pounds, which I believe is about 113 kilograms. And it's insane. No one has really come close to this since then. I believe it was maybe 4 years ago he set this record. But like I said, you're looking at numbers that are like 180, 190 are really the best you're seeing in every other federation that strict curl is being done. And Dennis is like way ahead of the pack at almost 250 pounds strict curl. And just to give you guys some more perspective, this is done with strict form, obviously, because it's called a strict curl. But Dennis has posted videos on YouTube cheat curling, where he uses momentum and uses his back and uses bad form, and you can really see how much of an advantage you get when you're not performing the curl strict, and you can really see how strong he is too. His heaviest cheat curl that I've seen on record is 375 pounds, roughly 170 kilograms, and that's what you're watching right now. And this is the best curler in the world, so keep in mind when you guys see a guy like Brad Castleberry curling 3 or 4 plates for reps, that's not real. This is the real deal. So who is this freak of nature, Denis Cyplenkov? Well, as I mentioned, he's a professional arm wrestler. He's about 6'1" tall. He weighs roughly 317 pounds, 317, 320, about 144 kilograms. The size of his arms is pretty insane. The common number that I've seen agreed upon and thrown around, that the maximum measurement his arms were measured in at were roughly 24.5, 24.4 inches. Now, he's also got insanely big hands, which is one of the things he's known for. It's probably something that works to his advantage in arm wrestling. Now, he's also competed in powerlifting and strongman and other categories, obviously, besides the strict curl. His best bench press, I believe, was 639 pounds. His best deadlift, 705.5, and his best squat, 749.6. Now, it looks like a lot of those records were last updated in 2008, so I don't know if there were any improvements between now and then, but the strict curl was relatively recently. Like I said, I think it was like 4 or 5 years ago. I believe it was 2016. So that is going to wrap it up for the video today, guys. I hope you did, in fact, enjoy it. Denis Cyplenkov is the man with the heaviest curl of all time, aka the strongest biceps in history. I hope you did enjoy it. Please subscribe for more videos just like this one. Give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. And as always, Nick Strength and Power, signing out.